intelligence, especially to journalists and to members of parliament, which you alluded to, and with a particular goal of spreading misinformation, discreditation, and so forth. And the seriousness of those breaches, especially, and you also later referred to the clearance that classified information is shared and people don't have the vetting and the clearance. But you also yesterday made mention of the fact that you do not have the necessary security clearance because of the problems at that section. Do you not think that the sharing of that information with yourself is also the same type of breach?
Once it's classified and is shared with me, then I'm in position of it's a classified or breach. But the information that I get from the members is plans and strategies that are employed within crime intelligence that are malicious. That's what I get, not the details. For instance, I will not have a vetting profile of a person in crime intelligence, that which is given to someone. I will not have details about the property that was procured that is given out. But the only information I'm going to get is that such an intelligent information was given by so-and-so to this handler, lady, who took this information to this member of parliament. That's a type of information that I collect that comes to my possession. Obviously, the details of those things will end up with the divisional commissioner, and he will share that which is not classified, which we can work on. That's why I said when I presented, there's some of the information here that is classified that I might not be in position of, because I'm not authorized to be in position of, but those that I'm in position of is what I'm authorized to be in position of. So when I mention of the security clearance, it was not a lie, that the processes within crime intelligence is manipulated to such extent. I'll give you an example, is that General Kumalo gets his security clearance sorted out, and then he gets appointed. Immediately after that, they launch an investigation. They go to Inspector General and say, this vetting certificate was not supposed to be issued. It shouldn't have been issued. Let's investigate how it was issued. Then he goes to State Security to conduct another vetting process that side. And he gets awarded a security clearance on the other side. So they still believe that he does not have on this side, as they're pushing the narrative and Inspector General of Intelligence Investigation, and they get a shock that actually has two. He has another one now granted by State Security. So if they knew about his immediate appointment, they would have frustrated the issuing of the certificate so that he does not get into that office. The people that are, that's why you see a lot of these leakages are coming from that vetting office. It's all about the vetting reasons that are going out. So it tells you that that office is compromised in the South African Police Service.
Thank you, General. Then just the Honorable Malema spent time on the allegations that you made with regards to politicians sitting in Parliament. You said that they are involved in syndicates, that there are members involved in syndicates. I just want to reflect on one matter and get clarity on that issue. You then, in your statements to this committee and the statement to the commission, you refer to the two members, Mr. Adams and Ms. Kohler Barnard. You don't refer to other members, and you answered the Honorable Malema saying that there's investigations taking place with regards to other members. But what I want to check and get clarity on is, when you mentioned this on the 6th of July, you said that they are involved in criminal syndicates. When you said that on the 6th of July, were you referring to Mr. Adams and Ms. Kohler Barnard amongst others? Or is it a separate wrongdoing?
Honorable members, I'm not going to call the two members you're referring to in relation to the criminal syndicate because that investigation is sitting in another level. The moment I say they're involved in criminality, they means they have not been charged, then I would be unfair to them to say that. I will only, maybe they will only be known members of parliament that are involved with the criminal syndicate once arrests are made. But then we can be able to talk about them. So for now, the criminal syndicate that is being investigated and the role that these members are playing to allow the frustration of that investigation. It's what made us to flag them. The reforms within crime intelligence that have been introduced and the role that these members are playing to frustrate that process is what makes us to flag them. So, but in terms of their role specific into, or any other member of parliament into the real syndicate that works within this drug space that you're talking about, I cannot talk about it here in the open meeting because it's something that is running as a counterintelligence investigation that is not within my space.
Thank you. So when you said during the briefing, and it's quoted, it's on page 25 of NSM2, you said that the task team unmasked the syndicate, and the syndicate involves, amongst others, politicians who are currently serving in parliament. You were referring to other members, not those two.
Let me not say those, not those two. Let me say I'm referring to some members of parliament without saying who.
It's a very serious allegation.
Yeah.
You understand that.
Yeah, I know.
But thank you for that. Then a quick another issue that you refer in your in NSM3 to the actions that were taken or the concerted campaigns against you, and you reference the IPIT investigation on the Mkhwanazi matter. It's cited on paragraph 312 of NSM3 with regards to the arrest of Joyce Ndlovu. I just want to check, you are aware, General, that since then the regional commissioner, Mkhwanazi, was suspended and is facing very serious allegations. Are you aware of that? Let me first check that.
No, I'm not aware.
He has been suspended actually twice, but is currently suspended. And he's facing allegations of impropriety and misconduct, obstruction, interference, corruption. And so in hindsight, or in light of that, would you have acted differently? Or would you consider the whole matter differently with the fact that a national unit became involved and that nothing provincial was alerted to that operation? Maybe because of these serious allegations and also taking the serious nature of the drug syndicates in our correctional facilities into account. Don't you think that was the reasoning for those actions involving Joyce Ndlovu?
Honorable members, my problem with the Mkhwanazi had nothing to do with an operation. I've said it on the record and I'm saying it again, that despite the fact that those members were deployed for a purpose of RPM, which was their mandate, but when an information of criminality lands on their desk, as police officers, they must act on it. It is expected for them to act on it. I said the information they received might have been correct, that these drugs in there that have been pushed. I did do my little bit of investigation after that incident to establish why did they choose this one? Why would they accuse her for this? Then I realized there's some relationship with foreign nationals that she has in her family that might have caused such to happen. But obviously, I did not go deeper to investigate what type of relationship. But I know there's some relationship with some people that are not from South Africa, that in that space in the family. But the members might have had a positive information. But when they arrived in the house, they did not find what they were looking for. Hence, my advice to them, get forensic to come there. If there were drugs there, they're going to pick up the residue that will have been left on the floor. That's going to give you an indication that indeed, and then you can interrogate the person further. Look at the cameras around, look at the people who came to establishment and so forth. This is a correctional facility. Anyone enters a gate, the vehicle must be registered and supposed to be searched anyway. Check whether all those things were done so that you can prove indeed that there is something that was happening in that space. Do not just arrest, because we miss the target at times. You're quick to arrest the biggest criminal without collecting information. You rush to arrest. And when you end up in court, you have an egg on your face because you can't prove the case. And the person walks. And the society turns around and look at you as a police and say, but we gave information, you arrest the person, and you let that person walk out tomorrow. It's because you fail as a police officer to tick all the boxes that justifies the presentation of that case in court. So it is that advice that was given. Hence, I am the one that said to them, get forensic to come there and process that crime scene. They were not doing that. They came and they pick up these things and went to a police station to detain a person. And I said, no, you're wrong. It's a crime scene. Get forensic to that crime scene. Check what is happening in that crime scene. You might have missed something. The drugs might have been in that property, in the ceiling board. You didn't go to that ceiling board to check. You ended up here in the carpets and stuff like that. You should have opened the carpets, if there are carpets on the floor, and check whether there's no holes in manholes that are built inside those carpets, if you really want to search. But it looks like they just did a scanning of that building and they left. So I was advising them to do what is right. That is the first thing. Secondly, for them to arrest under that circumstances was going to pose a risk as losing a case. Number two, inviting an unnecessary civil claims against the state. So to guard against that, before you do this, gather this information, get forensic to give you the outcome of these pills that you are suspecting to be drugs, because you then have a field training testing device that they should have had. They did not have it. When they see these pills, they assume it is drugs. They could have tested it on the spot. That first response will tell them that this is drug. Then at least they're 100% sure that we're taking in for drugs. For now, they didn't do that. Hence, I invited them to speak to forensic. So it is only that was my recommendations to them, but I still left it to the commander to make a decision. I was more than 200 kilometers away from him.
So you did not instruct them not to arrest her?
Well, I said to them, be careful if you detain the person. Arresting is one thing. But if you enter the name of this person in the detention register, and the person, even if he doesn't sleep in the cell, the mere fact that the name is on the SAP 14 register that says the person is booked into the police station, it's a problem already. That is a basis for civil claim, and we've experienced a lot of them. You will ask the honorable chair and members of the portfolio committee to give you our litigation, our bill that we're paying lawyers for unlawful arrest. And we can't afford to do that negligently. So I was guarding against that as a responsible person in the province. Let's be careful about this. So as a result, they decided not to detain her. Because again, if there was any evidence she would have been arrested, she was the head of the institution, and I do not believe that she was a flight risk in any way for that. So if there's something within the department that has been found, I do hope and pray is in relation to that which was suspected then. But if it is not, then it's something else, unfortunately. But if it's criminal, you give me a call and I will still process it. The crime is a crime. There's no excuse. But we cannot aggressively treat people bad, even if they're not supposed to be treated bad, because we have information that they are bad.
Thank you very much, General. Last question.
Honorable Vessels, on my benevolence, I will allow you to ask your question in light years. Light years means it's a time ahead of a second in speed.
Nanoseconds.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Last question is, have you considered given any consideration to the fact that you might be used as a pawn in some other factional, political, or other battle, and that you are being misused? Have you ever considered this yet? Have you satisfied yourself that it is not the case? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, I was clear at the beginning. It never crossed my mind that there can be anyone that is accusing me of playing politics on this. But after we made that address and we started getting response, and one of the first response came from political parties, Mkhwanazi amongst others, when they started marching. And I did not appreciate that. First, I took it because at the first march, it was a mix of different political parties. But the second march, where they had my photos and everything that was done in Gauteng, I sent a communication to the people of MK. I said, get me out of it. If you want to march for whatever you march for, don't use my face. I don't belong there. And they apologized, they acknowledged. I said, unfortunately, it was too late to tell the other people not to use my face. But I think they stopped after that because I did not want to be associated with it. I was happy with the citizens making noise. Political parties are welcome to make noise. They are members of society as well. But to be used as a face in politics was a problem for me. Since then, what has then happened is people start saying Mkhwanazi for president. I came here yesterday and I said it. I'm a policeman and I know how to be a law enforcement officer, not to be a politician. I've never had a relationship much with politicians. I'm not saying I don't like politicians per se, but the method of operation at times troubles me. That's why I wouldn't want to become one. They arrive in a space where they get to as politicians different than what I do as a policeman. So that's why I said it on record yesterday. And to those that will dream to have a person of my caliber as a head of state, unfortunately, I'm sorry, maybe it will disappoint the society, but I am what I am. And I will do this job until come March next year. If it's done, it's done. And it ends there. So being associated with a specific political party or being used by these vessels, that's why I learned that there was this allegation that we are close to Cele, the very same Cele that I'm branding in front of you now as a person who's got questionable relationship with Matlala. If I was my close associate, I don't think I would be saying that in public. And many other people that people associate with me. To me, you are good or you're bad. It can't be something in between. If I don't know anything wrong that you have done, then you're a good man. But once you cross the line, you'll cross the line and there's no turning back.
And the people that feed you with information, aren't you being misused by them?
Honorable